every child is curious.
George, look what I found.
Turn their curiosity into a lifelong love of learning.
That's a periscope.
It's one of the most important gifts you can share. Create a curious reader.
Oh, you want to build a castle like that one? This is super bedtime reading.
Share a book together today. Visit read.gov.
Welcome to This Week with Sheriff Dave Phelan, a weekly program here on LSN Television, and we're also carried by a number of our radio affiliates throughout Fairfield County. Do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week. And before we start, I would like to thank the folks here at Fairfield Christian Academy, the student body, certainly JT Burcham, the instructor, and all the folks behind the scenes that make this program available each and every week. And do appreciate the folks that do a great job, and I get a lot of nice comments about the program, and we have a lot of followers. And certainly if you, the viewer or listener, have any questions, just give me a call in the office, 652-7252. That's 652-7252. We'll be glad to answer them and help you, and certainly it is a privilege and honor to be the Sheriff of Fairfield County. Back this week by popular demand is Jeff Dixson, School Resource Officer for the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office at Lancaster High School. And just to kind of recap for the folks that missed the program last week, you're 3 years, starting your third year at Lancaster High School, School Resource Officer.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you do, whether it's directing traffic, student discipline, teaching. What are some of the varied responsibilities that you take care of at Fairfield or Lancaster High School?
Well, that was one thing that I thought about getting when I got into school resource officer. You walk around the school and do absolutely nothing. That sounds pretty cool. But yeah, when I got in there, huh? It did not work out at all.
Yeah.
Like I said, as far as the discipline, I don't deal with the discipline at school. I only deal with the discipline when it violates state law.
Okay.
And that's by driving a car or by doing something illegal.
Okay.
As far as teaching, I teach once a month out there with the kids in the morning, and that's, like I said, we try to make awareness for seatbelt usage, distracted driving, drug issues, alcohol issues, curfew issues, and we did programs on shaken baby syndrome. We did Lifeline of Ohio. We've done a lot of programs out there and we try to bring a lot of education into the school, just besides your math, English, and science.
For our viewers or listeners, what does Lifeline for Ohio mean? What is that?
That's the organ transplant donation team.
Okay. So you talked a little bit about their responsibility?
Talked about what they do, how the kids actually become an organ donor.
Okay.
A lot of them don't know it's on your driver's license. So, a lot of them were pretty interested in that.
So, by and large, the teachers, they take care of the discipline. If it becomes criminality, somebody bringing drugs, maybe somebody bringing a weapon in or around the school grounds, some kind of fight or something, that's where you kind of intervene.
That's where I intervene at, yes.
Now, Lancaster High School certainly has a lot of football games and things. Are you part of the special duty group that works that too?
Yeah, all the special duty comes to me, and then I will assign it out to the group of guys that are there. Like I said, we do the football games, basketball games, volleyball games, soccer games, track and cross country.
Wow, so there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yes.
So you're pretty busy.
That school is nonstop.
Okay. Now, your primary responsibility is Lancaster High School. And you mentioned last week that the Lancaster Police Department takes care of some of the other schools. Now, do you ever go off campus for any reasons?
Yeah, if they have emergencies at the other school, we run to those schools to make sure that somebody's there dealing with the problem right away.
Okay. So you have a good working relationship, obviously, with the Lancaster Police Department, and so that's beneficial.
Correct.
What Let's kind of change topics for a minute. Now, you mentioned last week you're a 20-year veteran of the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. You got a lot of ribbons and things there, and a lot of things that you've done where you've gotten awards and things. What's the most memorable thing that you can remember during the past 20 years? And if you got more than one, that's okay.
Well, I mean, I got to say, so far, I mean, the most memorable would be with the K9 unit.
Okay.
You know, that was a big part of my career. That was 9 years. And, you know, like I said, there's probably people out there in the viewing area that remember my dog. He was Rex. And he was a very good dog. He did a lot for this county.
Now, the K9, that's something that, you know, during the budgetary issues, we've had to reduce. We have one K9. At one time, there was 3, one for each shift.
Correct.
And when you think about the K9, what are some of the things that these dogs are available that they can do?
Well, I mean, they can track people. You know, it's not just tracking a bad guy running through the woods. It's trying to find that, you know, missing kid that went missing out of the backyard.
Okay.
You know, the elderly person that walks off that has no idea where they are. Those are some of the things that those dogs can track. You know, like I said, but they do track the bad guys too, but they also track a lot of other stuff. You know, it's finding drugs in cars, drugs in houses. You know, they play a very big role in that. You know, like I said, if somebody takes off running, an armed person takes off, the dog can go after him and apprehend him for us, so none of us get hurt. And
the dog actually lives with the deputy, the handler.
Yeah, that's what I said. When I took that over, it was a big commitment too. You don't realize, you just think, I gotta have a dog, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 24 hours a day, 7-day-a-week commitment.
Now, did you just have one dog?
No, I had 2 little Jack Russells at home also.
Okay.
With a 140-pound Belgian Malinois.
Now, during the time that those 9 years you were with the K9 unit, did you have different dogs during that period of time, or was it just Rex?
No, just Rex.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yes.
Now, when Rex retired, he went on to live with you at your house? Or?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it was a good time. Like I said, Rex.
So you become pretty close, don't you?
Well, he becomes part of the family.
Right.
And like I said, I got home. He would run to my daughter's room, jump in her bed, and that's where he slept. Those two were pretty much inseparable.
Wow.
I mean, he went on vacations with us. He didn't stay in a kennel. 9 times out of 10, we usually loaded him up and took him with us. And
there's some special ways that vehicles are designed that have the K9 units too, right?
Yeah, and the police cars, they've got the standalone cages in the back seat's taken out. And the reason for those cages are for accidents. And we know that firsthand. We've been involved in a few accidents out it with the dog. And,
right.
You know, like I said, it keeps everybody safe because the cage can be closed. So the dog is locked into the back, so if, you know, who's ever driving the car needed assistance, the medics could do it. With that cage open, they wouldn't be able to touch who's sitting in the car.
Now, was there also, if I remember correctly, a way that the door could automatically open? You have a release on that?
Yeah, there's a release that you carry on your belt. Okay. And if you hit that, it'll automatically pop open the passenger rear door. And that gives the dog the way out of the car if something's happening.
Now, is there ever any danger, like to civilians when they're around a K9 unit, when they're around a dog?
I mean, as far as what me and Rex, I mean, we did shows at churches, fairs, festivals. I mean, we went everywhere. He loved kids. And, you know, I mean, when you have the dog that loves the kids, you know it. I mean, there's some police dogs out there, yeah, if you walk up to the car, they act like they're going to eat you alive, but they're not. They're nice dogs.
So any time that you can remember this kind of like where you were able to get a large drug seizure, or maybe you were able to track a suspect and catch the individual, that you could share with us?
Yeah, we did quite a few of those. I mean, the most memorable one was down in Stoutsville. We went there to work a warrant on a second floor apartment. The guy actually jumped out of the second floor window and took off running. And, you know, like I said, we yelled at him several times to stop. He kept running. Rex actually apprehended him.
Wow. And I'm going to guess I've been involved in some pretty good drug seizures over the years.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact numbers. It's been a few years. You know, like I said, we had some big busts, small busts. I mean, went everywhere from, you know, small ounces of marijuana to pounds of marijuana.
One of the other things that we've seen over the years is sometimes in our jail, the prisoners will kind of get disruptive in a cell, and they'll start causing a lot of problems, especially like they're in a dorm type setting. They won't settle down. And I can remember one time you brought the canine in, and all of a sudden everybody went right back into their cells, and they said, we don't want to tangle with that dog.
Well, a few barks from the dog, yeah, it kind of sends people in a different direction. Like I said, for somebody to want to fight one person on one person, that's one thing. You bring a dog into it, they just know they're going to get hurt.
Right. With us is Jeff Dixson, School Resource Officer at Lancaster High School with the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. Now, I see that you're a member of the SWAT team.
Correct.
And how long have you been with the SWAT team?
I'm going on, 5 years of it.
5 years. And tell us a little bit about how a deputy becomes a SWAT officer.
Well, for a deputy to become a SWAT officer, you have to go through tryouts. And the first part is you have to have, I think it's either 3 or 5 years experience on the department before you can even try out. Then you go through tryouts. We just held tryouts, actually. I think we had 12 people trying out for the SWAT team, which is a good number.
Okay.
And it consists of, running, sit-ups, pull-ups, push-ups, and also firing on the range.
So there's, I'm going to guess, a certain degree of proficiency with a firearm?
It's pretty much 100% proficient.
Yeah, even more so than the yearly qualifications that we go to. You have to be a
Correct.
few notches above that as far as your skills. And for our viewers and listeners, our SWAT team is just unlike some of the bigger, like Franklin County Sheriff's Office or Columbus Police Department, where their SWAT team just kind of stands by and does things. Our SWAT team is made up of deputies that work a lot of different assignments, and when something happens, you're called out, you meet, and you go directly to a scene.
Yeah, it depends on the scene. Sometimes we go directly there. Sometimes we have to go to our SWAT building to get equipment, depending upon the needs. But no, we don't have a full-time SWAT team, so basically the easiest way to look at it, we're all volunteer.
You are volunteers?
Yes.
And you mentioned that I think it was last week, you talked about being part of our mounted unit at one time.
Yes.
And I bet that was kind of fun because I've seen some pictures. Our mounted unit has really shrunk over the years, but at one time, years ago, how many, 6, 7?
I think our highest, we had 8 horses.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, we did parades in this county, we did Klan rallies, we did festivals. One of the biggest festivals we did was Jamboree in the Hills. We also did the Halloween down in Athens with horses.
Now, do you still have horses?
Yes.
Okay. Jeff, appreciate you being with us the last couple weeks on This Week with Sheriff Dave Fallon. You got a lot of different ribbons there for awards. Any one of those ribbons that you want to explain what happened and how you got that?
Well, the one up top right here, that's actually Saved by the Bell.
Okay.
That was one of the car crashes that I was involved in with my dog. Actually got hit by a drunk driver head on. And, like I said, because I had my seatbelt on, I'm still here to talk about it. And that's why I think seatbelt safety is very important.
Boy, that's a great way to end the day. The other thing that comes to mind since you mentioned that is every year, or at least the last few years, at the Fairfield County Fair, the Sheriff's Office actually has a tent, and what we have is a car that's been involved in a serious car accident. And in fact, you may have come up with that idea where we have a picture of the student and a little bit about how the belt saved the student's life.
Yeah, correct. The first year, it was 2 years ago.
Okay.
Had a girl that crashed her car up in Canal Winchester when I was working up there. And, like I said, she rolled the car, I believe, 5 times and had her seatbelt on and walked away with a scratch on her foot.
Makes a difference.
Yes, it does.
With us this week, Jeff Dixson, School Resource Officer at Lancaster High School. Appreciate you being here, Jeff. We'll have you back here one of these days. And during the next year, I'd like to have different school resource officers. We currently have 4 school resource officers here in Fairfield County and beyond. Canal Winchester, the latest to have a school resource officer. Fairfield Union, certainly Lancaster, as we talked about, and then Pickerington North. So we're going to have them in throughout the year to talk a little bit about differences in schools, some of the different responsibilities and things they do. Well, the clock on the wall says it's time to go. Again, I appreciate the folks here at Fairfield Christian Academy that help us put this program together. Until next week, same time, same place, God bless. If you're driving, buckle up, and we'll see you here next week.
When it comes to choosing a school, parents who want the best education for their students look for academic excellence, skilled teachers, a safe school that encourages their values. Students want a school with competitive athletics, unique opportunities, and friendships that last a lifetime. Fairfield Christian Academy, the place where parents and students agree. Enrolling now at fairfieldchristianacademy.com.